So the average prices of the homes that I sell is $12 million. And I've sold, the most expensive home I've sold is $43 million.
Wow.
And the lowest is $1 million.
Olá, hoje estou aqui para entrevistar Michael Balliet. Ele é um dos grandes corretores de alto padrão e luxo dessa região onde eu estou, que é o sul da Califórnia, entre San Diego e Los Angeles.
So as we look backwards, I started my career in financial services about 25 or maybe longer. So 25 years ago, so I worked for big banking institutions, and I did that for about 2.5 decades. About 8 years ago, I decided that I wanted to get into the real estate business, and luckily for me, my brother-in-law actually owns the brokerage, and so it was a really easy transition for me to get into the business. And I also used to work with very high-end clientele in terms of, I did a lot of asset management and these things where I dealt with people on a very high level of their assets. So for me to go into the luxury real estate space where I was more of an advisor than just a realtor, it was a very comfortable space for me. So I easily transitioned into it. I like the psychology around the real estate business more than just the transactional part of it. So the last 8 years I've started and risen to a pretty successful place where our team is the #1 brokerage of our size in all of Orange County. So one thing that I think of about the luxury space is, and it's probably because the market here in coastal Orange County has been on an upward trajectory for the last 10 years like this. And as the prices have increased, the competition in the real estate space has increased. The amount of agents that want to be a luxury real estate agent has increased because we have all these TV shows now. And so everyone sees these television shows and they talk about how easy it is to make millions of dollars, and they glorify it on TV, right?
Absolutely.
Like you get the listing, you throw a party, you sell the house. It's not like that, right? So there's more competition. The expectation from the homeowners is much greater. I think the only way to sell luxury real estate is a one-on-one relationship. And the importance to me of having that one-on-one relationship with the client, the homeowner, is the equity ownership that I bring to the table myself. Meaning, I don't have equity in the home, but I have the equity participation, literally the money that I have to put out for marketing, for staging, to run my business is in alignment with, as a partnership with the seller. Meaning that we are now in a partnership together. I have an equity interest, and my success is their success. So we have this saying on some of our marketing, and I say, we win for you. Because we talk a lot about winning and being the top agent, #1 agent, and a lot of people say all you want to do is brag about your trophy sales and your record sales. I say, but my record sales, I'm winning for you.
For sure.
Because if I sell your house at the top price, you win, right? So we win, you win. So the equity position that I bring to the table, the one-on-one exclusivity, there are people that want to try and save money. And they say, oh, I'll just throw it out to a bunch of different brokers and see whoever can sell the house.
Yeah.
But if you have 20 people who have no real equity ownership in seeing the succession, it's going to fail. It's not going to work. If you have one team that's dedicated and they invest 20, 30, 50,000 of their own dollars to market a property, they're going to want to see it, you win. It's a trick question. So typically the homeowner should, but there are occasions when they cannot or they will not, and we feel so compelled about it that it is so beneficial, that it is so important that we'll pay for it. I'll pay for it, but I want to make sure that they're going to hire us and give us enough time and give us that exclusivity and be on the same page and partner with us so that all the parties have the same end goal, but they have to understand they can't be unrealistic. They can't say, you know, oh, you pay for staging and I'll give you 1 month to sell the house.
Oh no.
You know, so, and that has happened. Minimum 6 months. Minimum 6 months. Because
and max?
You know, normally we say 6 to 12 months.
Okay.
You know, if we take a property and we think it's going to take more than 12 months to sell, there's something wrong. It's mispriced. The property is not attractive. You know, there's something wrong. It shouldn't take more. Although I will say that in the ultra luxury space, we have a property coming on for $100 million. That house is going to take the right buyer. You know, I don't know. That could take 6 to 9 months. That's normal.
Sure.
That's normal.
Yeah.
You know, you imagine with $100 million, you're going to have maybe a buyer from Dubai or somewhere.
They can buy
maybe they can't come out, you know, right away, or you know what I mean? Like, so
yeah, sure.
Normally though, 6 months, 12 months is usually kind of the cap, or if it was in the middle of a renovation or something, maybe a little bit longer. The number one important thing. It's so presentation of a home is a very unique question.
Yeah.
If you take out all of these little things that we added, it looks like it could be the showroom of the Italian kitchen showroom, right? Like where you could go to purchase it.
Yeah.
So, for example, this property was listed before and it didn't sell. And when my partner and I walked through, we have an eye for, you know, finding flaws. Why didn't it sell? We ask ourselves these questions. And mostly what you want to do is as a realtor, as a real estate advisor, someone, you want to create an atmosphere for a buyer to feel comfortable. And we try and make things very neutral, but sometimes you need to bring in little things to create excitement and emotion. Like, for example, if we moved these bowls and you just see this beautiful stone, it's a beautiful stone, but a whole slab island of it by itself, honestly, it's kind of boring. Yeah. There's no excitement. And some of it is for photography, so that, because some people may never come to the house, but they see it online. Yeah. You know, what we try and create is that when someone comes into the house, they feel like they can envision themselves living there.
Yeah, but still, you need to leave some open spaces, so the person can imagine their stuff there too.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. And nothing too, you know, particular to a particular person, like nothing too bold. Just, again, like you said, leave it up to their imagination of how they would live there. And then it creates a comfort in someone's brain. Yeah. For example, you know, we have this indoor dining. There was no outdoor dining. So while it made the space feel bigger, it didn't create that sense of like, well, if I lived here, you know, I could see myself or my husband or my friend cooking on the barbecue, and then we could sit here and enjoy the beautiful sunshine and the ocean view. It was more like, oh, there's a barbecue and then there's a table inside, you know, so this links it together. Yeah. And it creates that
style of life
that's exactly right.
Life that people would have here.
That's exactly right. Yep. That's what you're buying, but you have to create it so they can see it. If there was no furniture here, you would walk around and you would say, this is a good space, but I don't know how, you know, some people just don't have any vision or creativity.
And also the space when it's empty, it looks like it's smaller than actually it is.
That's correct, yeah. The owners of this property had the interior designers do custom furniture. So we weren't starting from scratch, but as I said, we looked at what was here and thought, why wasn't it selling? And again, instead of making it look like a showroom, we want to make it look like someone's living room, right?
This is a big difference here.
Big difference, yeah. Like you feel like, okay, I can sit down, my kids are playing in the pool or whatever, and like just enjoy that myself.
Yeah.
What we want to try and do is create something very neutral for everyone.
Yeah, and also up to date with the taste of what that people looks like. Huh?
Great point. Super important. Because we work with so many buyers, we hear the feedback. And that's the other thing is that, you know, we hear the feedback from people and we know what, like a seller will say to me, well, we think it looks perfect the way it is. I said, well, we're not selling you the house. We're selling
you already have the house.
You already have the house. And as a matter of fact, today, you wouldn't buy the house for the price that it is today, right? You bought it when it back in. So we have to create the environment for the current buyer. People change with Instagram and Facebook and all these different platforms.
Yeah.
People, they see the new color of the year, color of the month. They see the new tile, they see the new wood slats. These are very popular right now.
Oh, very much,
right?
Even in Brazil.
Yeah, so all these new things, you have to stay current and understand. But 2 years from now, when I'm walking a buyer through this house, when I sell it twice, and they're like, oh God, the people overdid it with those wood slats.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then next time I'll say, hey, we're hearing that, you know, people don't love the wood slats anymore. Or everyone used to do white kitchens. No one wants white kitchens anymore. So don't paint your cabinets white, right?
Yeah.
So like, yeah, you have to evolve and change with the current market. So what I find the most important is someone who can understand the psychology of the buyers. Number one, I think you have to be able to think quickly on your feet and pivot to the point where, you know, different buyers come in with different expectations, right? It's someone who has the ability to create the narrative for the home around the buyer's needs.
Like building storytelling.
Storytelling,
yeah.
100%, yeah. And like there's, you know, these are just, you have to have someone who understands like creativity, construction, design, you know, also someone with empathy. Yeah, so that's a great question. So this is a great example of this room. So when we originally walked into this room, this shuffleboard was located here, and it took up most of this walkway. And that huge painting, as beautiful as it is, was tilted up on the wall, like this.
Okay.
You know, like this. No TV. And the furniture was arranged differently. So when I walked into this room, my brain didn't automatically say, oh, this is a family TV room. My brain was like, is this a art room, or I don't know. It just didn't make me feel like comfortable. It was almost like chaos. Not in a negative way. It was still a beautiful room.
You sure?
It just didn't create any comfort for me. And so what we try and do is optimize, right? We want to make everything as the best it could be. So we decided, we moved the play table over there, we put the piece of art on the wall, we put the TV up here. While no one way is the right way, but because I work with enough buyers and I've sold enough homes, that I think now, as you walk in, how did this room make you feel?
Yeah, big, comfortable, cozy. I could see family here gathering together. No, this is clear. The message here is clear.
Yeah, it has a purpose.
So
here's the thing. Above and beyond all is you're paying a lot of money per square foot for a property.
It should make sense.
Don't want to have any particular space, especially a space this big, feel like it doesn't have a clear purpose because you're like, I'm paying X amount of dollars for this space and I don't know what I'm going to do with it.
Yeah.
No, that's not what you want.
This
You don't want any confusion. You want people to, okay, kitchen's perfect, 2 bedrooms, perfect, bonus room that I can use for my kids or whatever, right? But you can see how big it is, you can see how inviting it is, you can see how neutral it is, and that's the whole goal. What I'm seeing is the challenge in the marketplace is that there's a saturation. Too many people think this is an easy job, and they watch the TV shows and they want to get their real estate license and sell homes and make $1 million. And you know, I work 7 days a week. I work, you know, 100 hours a week. I work as much as like when I was in banking, probably more than when I was in banking. Wow. Luckily, I don't have to travel, which is nice. But and this is a business where you have to literally roll up your sleeves. Today was presentation to the marketplace. I brought spray and paper towels and I cleaned the barbecue, I cleaned the tables, I cleaned the floor, there were bugs, you gotta get dirty. You have to be, you know, and I have a team, but I had to get it done, so I did it myself. You know, so you have to be willing to work long hours, do what other people don't, and the most important thing is we like to win. So I need to win for the clients. We have to keep at number one. And the only way to do that, it's a very competitive place, right? So you have to differentiate. You have to do things that other people won't. How do you not have enough respect for your client to make sure it's perfect, right? You have to, this is like if you owned a car dealership and all the cars on the lot were dirty, like you're not gonna sell any cars. No. Like you have to make everything pristine and attention to detail and commitment to excellence. That's it. Every house is different. So we identify the path that showcases the property and tells the story that you want to tell. Sometimes it depends on the buyer. It depends on if you know that the most important thing to them is the space for their children, or the most important thing for them is an ocean view, or the most important thing is the kitchen because he or she is a chef, right? So it depends. If you don't know that going into it, if it's not your client, then there's a kind of a standard path. So I think the storytelling is like every time you're trying to tell a story, you want to hook someone in a little bit more. You don't want to show them everything all at once, right? And sometimes if it's something that's like the big wow factor, maybe you hold that until the end so that when they leave, they can't stop thinking about it. So it really just depends on the property. We kind of create this narrative by the way that we storytell and move people through properties, but it's very intentional. And typically, you know, sometimes, you know, clients will come in the house and they try and go their own way. I say, whoa, follow me. This is what I do, right? Okay. I'm going to guide you. And there's always a thought behind it.
This is very important.
Very intentional.
Yeah.
I went to a house, $10 million. No agent, lockbox, brought my client, got the key, opened the door. It's dark, the windows are down, it was kind of dirty, and no agent. I had to go in, turn on the lights, and then do the tour myself. I hadn't been to the house before, so I didn't know what the best, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, talk about misrepresentation. I had someone ask me, are you going to be at the showing? I said, every single showing. Every door has to be open. Every light has to be on. If someone sat here and it was like this, this has to be perfect. This is what that equitable participation, the partnership, is what you get when you hire someone that is at the top of the game. You have to operate a business like a business. Okay, so from the beginning, once we get a listing agreement signed, we have an entire checklist, which starts with making sure the property is presented perfectly. So whether that is staging, some small touch-ups, or maybe even it's a big remodel, we have to prepare the property. Once the property is 100% ready to go, like we would show it to be, ready to show it to someone, we have photography. Some agents out there just use their iPhone. We spend thousands on photography. Videography, an entirely different team comes in, shoots an entire video, architectural video. Again, some people do it themselves, very expensive. So the presentation that you put out to the world is important. The photos, the video. Almost everyone's going to see it first on their phone.
Sure.
And you have a screen this big to market yourself. Then traditional marketing is still alive. Print, magazines, mailing, sometimes postcards. So traditional real estate marketing still exists and we still use it. Newspapers like the Business Journal, specific targeted ads for the audience we're trying to reach, which is affluent people. And then most important, digital. The digital strategy is creating content, creating a narrative, creating that storytelling that is pushed out through all the different channels, from Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn,
TikTok,
everything, TikTok. So having a complete strategy around the digital space is probably the most important in 2024. No.
Why not?
No, at the level that we work, typically we feel this is a great question, and it talks a lot about how committed we are and how 100% sure we are that staging a property gets you a better outcome, is that we would rather even pay for it ourselves to make sure it's staged, because we're going to sell it faster and we're going to sell it for more money. So we virtually never do virtual training.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay. All right. That's it.
Thank you.